Hello, thank you for tuning in to the Marketing is Mind Control podcast. We have a special episode for you today that is trending and you're probably going to have input. Please find us on Facebook at Marketing is Mind Control and tell us what you think about this topic. Let's get into it. Hi there. Welcome to Marketing is Mind Control, the podcast where we expose psychological games behind best practices and help you actually market with integrity. I'm the nerd, and today we're unraveling the myth of going viral. I've said it before on NAS and Pro TV, and I'll say it again. Going viral is not the goal, and sometimes that can be your linchpin of not succeeding the way you want to. You've been told it's the fastest way to grow, and for some people it might be. But I'm here to tell you it is also the fastest way to lose control of your brand, your message, and your nervous system, sometimes all overnight. Let's dig in. Okay, the viral illusion. Let's be blunt. If one more marketing manager tells you to just go viral to get seen, I'm going to scream into a bowl of, something like bentonite clay or something because we need to bind the shit out of this. But anyway, here's the lie. If you go viral, your business will grow. That's what they say. The reality, going viral is visibility without filtration. You're not building trust, you're triggering the algorithm. The cost that never gets factored into your client acquisition numbers, the time that you spend managing the trolls from that viral post, the energy lost to scrutiny, misinterpretation, or taking it out of context culture, possibly even cancel culture, or Google reviews, or Yelp reviews, things that can't be deleted from a simple viral funny video. Also not factored into your cost of client acquisition numbers when you go viral is clients you don't want showing up in your DMs and consistently dimming your numbers of like how often you reach and how often you respond and how often you convert. A temporary spike will look really, really good on your numbers and then you'll drop back down to zero, and that'll really cause long-term retention issues in your data collection and your lead conversion. It's not a strategy, it's a slot machine. Some people do really, really well with that, and some people end up with the sharks. So you don't build sustainable business by gambling. Okay. Now, if you can factor in viral content because you have mastered your algorithm, know your audience, and know how to be, funny or whatever it is while reaching the right person, then gold. That's gold. Going viral will help you. Until you get there, don't just make that your goal. Okay. So you want to know why or what your brain actually does during a viral moment. It panics, okay? So you go viral and your dopamine spikes, your cortisol spikes, and then you start reading the comments. So you might crash. You might feel elated. It really depends on how it goes, and it'll go all the ways all night long, okay? So your fight or flight system, it kicks in when your identity gets swarmed. So when your face is suddenly on a reaction video stitched into someone's agenda or turned into meme content, it's a different kind of, success. And if your message gets twisted, your whole offer becomes radioactive. You didn't ask to be the face of a movement. You just wanted to book more facials. Or in, some people's cases, let's talk about Coldplay. In the case in point, the Coldplay CEO gets caught on, not Coldplay CEO, at the Coldplay concert, the Astronomer CEO, Andy something or other, which I would never have known if he had not gone viral. He gets caught on the Jumbotron mid-affair, and boom, he's the main character of the internet for 48 hours or more. We're still in it. Who knows? We might be talking about the Jumbotron or being Coldplayed for, who knows, the next decade. But, we're not celebrating it. We're dissecting it. He didn't choose that publicity, and in fact, that was his apology. He said something about his private moments were not given out to the public by consent. And, so from a moral perspective, who the fuck cares? And I'm sorry for my French there, but really, who the fuck cares? Because you were cheating publicly. Thousands of people who could have publicly known your billion-dollar business, but you haven't marketed yourself very well, and they didn't know you by looking at you, you were standing in front of them cheating with the head of HR of your company. And so while that is a very private moment, you chose to go in public where everybody has their phones out doing those candlelit phone sessions and recording everything. There is a chance in the science world that we're in that somebody would have caught you on video with your, head of HR in an awkward moment and could have facial recognized you and doxed you anyway. You just happened, and who knows if it was on purpose or not, because it really helped out Coldplay to become relevant in bringing down this astronomer CEO who owns a billionaire business. I mean, it wasn't like it was just a, brother and sister affair or somebody from Podunk, Kentucky under the lithium mines or anything. No. It was the CEO of a billion-dollar company that nobody's really ever heard of before, who gets on the Jumbotron with his, side piece, and all of a sudden Coldplay's relevant. The SEO spikes for astronomer. People know both of their names. Her LinkedIn profile has been searched how many times? They're the face of the meme culture for the day. Who knows what news stories we're covering by jumping on the bandwagon. Marketing managers everywhere are like, hold the phone. I gotta get memes. I gotta make this relevant for skincare. I've already seen them. I've already been asked to make them. So it's been 3 days since the Coldplay concert? And by the way, side note here, if you don't want people telling you that they're sick so they can go to a concert, or telling you that they're working late so they can take their side piece to a concert, maybe we should put people who put on concerts not to do it on a Tuesday. Anyway, moving on. So this guy, he didn't choose that publicity that happened on the Jumbotron when Coldplay dude called him out. He didn't choose that, but it happened. And so there's a level of consent in 2025, knowing that we are in the surveillance culture of everybody has a phone or a device or some such nonsense that can scan you visually or audibly and recognize you and tie pieces together with AI about who you are, you did kind of consent to being in public. So it wasn't your branding, it wasn't your message, it wasn't your, business owner strategy, but you did consent to being in public as who you were with someone who is working with your company in a compromising position. That wasn't your branding, and now you're not CEO. You're the cheating guy from the concert. Everybody knows what to hashtag, what to look, and you're popping up in every industry. That's a viral moment. His life, his personal life, for business purposes, because the internet is going to take everything everywhere, right? Now becomes meme fodder. It is, it's an interesting time for him and their whole team, because his business is now associated with scandal. All of his clients are calling. Probably all of his employees are wondering if they're going to get fired. Some of his employees, whether they're going to get fired or the business is going to close or they're going to grow or not. Either way, there is some discussion among people who were happy at their job the day before the Coldplay concert, who are now either being groomed for new jobs, siphoned from other businesses that are competitors, or being bribed to stay on because of all the drama, or maybe they're succeeding overwhelmingly because of all the success. People who don't give a shit about people that cheat and aren't exactly moral have found out about their business and chosen them specifically. So who really knows how this fell? But it's a viral moment that wasn't prepared for, and it creates a giant amount of work. That's my whole point. Viral is not always great. You might think, well, I'm not famous. That would never happen to me. But if you're on camera, online, visible somewhere, you go to public, anything you do could become a moment, and you represent your business. So use that to your advantage, or let it accidentally happen to you, go viral, and it could drive your cost of client acquisition through the roof, which is, not what we want as entrepreneurs. We are kind of employees in our own business, and sometimes we employ people, but usually entrepreneurs are a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week mental position in your job. And a viral moment like this, he says he helped you build build the company, right? So he was on his personal time, supposedly, even though there were some other workers there. So who knows? It could have been one of those like, hey, honey, we got to work late. Nope, it's a company meeting. It's a company engagement thing. You know, those tax write-offs. We got to go do these events and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a Coldplay concert, but it's not their good album. Don't worry. And you know, we can't really allow any outsiders or anything like that. So don't worry about it, honey. Yeah, you can't come to this one. So maybe it was a moment like that. Who knows? But he chose to be in a business position with other business and people doing a private situation, and the business was impacted. Now, I don't know if you've seen that movie. If you're youngie, you haven't. If you're a boomer, maybe. I don't really know who would have watched this. It was called America's Sweethearts. It had Catherine Zeta-Jones, who's married to Michael Douglas. And then it had John Cusack, who's recently gotten very political and strange. It had those two people in it who were in love, but they were... Was it him? They were like actors and actress, and they were like superstars, and they were positioned to be married because of the publicity and the press it would get, and the negative publicity and the negative press, because it all helped the searches. It helped people find out who they were. And that's how you do it. Marketing is mind control. When you want people to know who you are and you don't have something interesting, you generate some negative publicity, because then people are searching for who you are. They find out that negative publicity is crap or bunk or whatever, and now they know who you are, and they might come shop your business or share about you, or at least you're in their algorithm, and that helps a little bit too. Well, that movie was older, but it shows the culture of, let's do a fake marriage for publicity. And we've kind of known that happens in Hollywood, but it's interesting that they showed it as a movie with the whole scene. And then he ended up falling in love with her assistant behind the scenes for real. And so he was married to somebody in public eye and on these, you know, tabloids and all this kind of stuff, and in the public press and at the award shows and stuff. You're married to this celebrity, but you're actually in love with this other person, right? And so it creates this strange dichotomy of, when you get to these success levels, you have to put on a show for the public. So, you know, honestly, we don't know what's going on in their home life. I mean, from his apology, it looked like it was an actual affair, and from the way that they were shamed and he jumped down off camera and she turned around bright red, it tells me that it was a cheating situation where nobody knew the others were cheating, and people would get hurt. However, that was known when they went into the situation, because that's what cheating does, and they still chose to do that. But we do not know that the other family, the other spouses aren't also cheating. We don't know. It's not an open marriage. What we do know is that this moment went viral, caused a lot of emotional outburst, and now a lot of Google searches and name knowing that we didn't know before. And that's marketing. It could also be a trap, and it could also be a cover-up, and it could also be an expose. Maybe Coldplay is part of the deep state exposing shitholes, and the astronomer company isn't great, and somebody needed to showcase that, you know, like in Blind Spot, where they talk about all this double take and double speak and all these different codes and things and stuff. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. But if you're not thinking for yourself, you're going to fall for the algorithm traps and get caught in the meme warfare. And that's where the mind control part comes in when I say marketing is mind control. We have all been mind controlled because all of a sudden we're talking about a company called Astronomer who is not from this realm of moral aptitude, and yet they've succeeded. Interesting. Anyway, I digress. So, you know, you're the one who made the weird frame away and become someone else's content. You kind of did choose that. But let's say, you know, how can you get publicity without trapping people in meme warfare style marketing, okay? So publicity without purpose is a trap, and I'll stand by that. Old school marketing logic said, get attention, any attention, and convert the chaos into cash. But today's reality, the algorithm favors polarization. Our dopamine hits favor polarization, publicity can be instantly weaponized. Your brand is guilty until proven nuanced. You didn't start your business to be a social experiment. You started it to help people or serve people or sell a product or get rich, whatever your purpose was. But that viral moment that you participated in or helped create or did something immoral with your business in your bio, is part of a social experiment at the expense of entrepreneurship in the way that it's toppling markets. So to do something instead, when we talk about old school techniques, the antidote to going viral, viral chaos, the antidote to that would be intentional visibility. So aside from consistency is key and not just hoping one moment's going to make you rich or 1 million followers. Because let's ask this question, and this is what I say to clients all the time when with my day job at creative director as on your marketing team at Facets of Hospitality, I tell people who ask me, well, I don't make any good content that'll make us go viral or anything. I just sell skincare and I do facials and I have time-lapsed footage and stuff of me, but I don't really have anything that'll go viral. And I ask them, I say, so what would going viral get you? Well, it's what everybody says. You get the likes, you get the looks, you get the views. Everybody thinks you're great. You need to have your numbers up so that when people come search you and they find your page and you don't just have 2 followers, it looks like you're a real person. Like, okay, some of that is true and some of that is a complete bunk. And the bunk part of that is from a viral status as, let's use an esthetician for example. Let's say you're in a pretty busy area in, let's use Miami, right? So you're an esthetician in Miami, you offer waxing but also sun damage facials, and you are trying to make $100K a month, but you are a solo esthetician. So literally you have 24 hours a day, just like the esthetician next to you. You're going to have to charge a lot to make $100K a month, right? So you can diversify and sell skincare and all kinds of other things. But what would going viral if you only sold appointments, say, butt waxes for $45, 15-minute treatments? How many butt waxes would you have to do a month to get that K a month? And how would going viral in India because your funny butt wax video went viral help you? Because are those people going to travel from India to your spa in Miami once a month for their butt wax? I doubt it. And I say butts in seats. You need butts in seats, which means if that person who liked your video, saw your video, or shared your video, or commented on your video, which those are the engagement rules here, right? If those people cannot physically, at any point in their next year, come get to your seat and put their butt in it for your facial services, waxing services, nail appointments, whatever it is that you do, and you don't sell something internationally or online even, or have an endless supply. If you have 2 t-shirts a month you're trying to sell because you make them on your heat press in your house, and then you also have 4 appointment facials per week that you call fully booked, what would having 21 million views on your butt wax video from India requesting appointments in your DMs do for you? I'll wait. Not too long. This is a podcast and dead air isn't fun. But really, what would it do for you? Not much, okay? It would give you social proof to make people think you're amazing, which you might still rip their labia off with your wrong wax techniques. Just because you got 1 million views doesn't mean your butt wax is perfect, okay? And the public eye who's listening to this, because I have a lot of business owners who listen to this podcast, but if you're in the public and you just think I'm funny or whatever it is that you're here for, if you are going to a service provider simply because they have 1 million views, if you're driving 6 hours to go get your hair cut by this TikToker because you like their last 5 videos and you booked an appointment, that's 100% awesome, but also you are setting yourself up for some sort of disappointment because they are a real person in a real town who could not get real local business because of whatever reason. Maybe they didn't advertise locally, maybe they're too good, maybe they're not good, but they can edit really well, and you're driving a very long way based on views that could have been paid for or could be people who would never put their butts in that person's seat. So your due diligence in watching watching viral content and believing it skyrockets. And most people don't have the energy to do a Google search and read the results, let alone skip to page 5 to see what's really going on. So here's the new strategy. Instead of viral chaos, we're going to do intentional visibility. We need you to be searchable, not shocking. Okay? Shock value does not work for every brand, and personally, I hate it. But it's not about me. This is about you. So SEO is going to be your friend. That stands for search engine optimization. That means if a person who would use your business types into a Google bar to find something that you do, you need to show up there. That's search engine optimization. Solid bios are going to help you a lot, and clear offers that really address clear problems that your target audience is clearly dealing with will get you locally viral. And locally viral, micro viral, mini viral, whatever you want to call it, that's what your goal is. You want to be known by the people who are in your butts and seats region, okay? And you want to trend there. So if everybody tells you to do this viral trend and blah, 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 and you go viral in all these other countries or in all these other states, and you can only see people who really travel from a 20-mile radius, then that's not really going to help you much. So do that maybe once a month or whatever to get your social proof that makes you feel happy. Pardon me. But also, you're going to want to do some local trends. You're going to want to talk about local things in your videos. SEO is now audible. It is now, sometimes the apps can hear what words you're saying, and they're going to show people things that they think are related to the words you're saying. So if you're saying things about these local places, local hangouts, local stuff, local colloquialisms, you guys call something this way, it's going to start picking up on the trend that you are a local person to this region and show those people your content. So that's a very easy way to reach the right people. Start talking about your region somehow in your content because words are key, okay? Keywords. That's SEO. So clear offers beat trend chasing every time. Don't beat around the bush. Don't offer 65 different services available upon your click to action. You know, you actually really, really want somebody to have that call to action accessible moment where they can click on something that you offer and then they are right to the buy now. You already got them. If you make them now choose, they're going to be in that whole, I'm already hungry, I'll eat whatever, but now you want me to tell you what I want? I have no idea. I'm going to leave and not eat anything. And so that's what it's like when you just do link in bio and your link in bio is your whole website of 70,000 pages of stuff. That's not easy for a customer. It's good to have. It's good to have for SEO and for customers that want to search around, and they will. That's needed. But that's not your advertising mechanism, and hence why they call it landing pages. So you can utilize real strategy that converts by understanding why things convert and how people engage and why they click on things, and utilize those data points in your maybe Google Analytics or your Wix Insights or whatever it is. But that doesn't mean that you're then going to mind control them into buying something that they wouldn't buy, or that you're going to utilize viral content that gets 30,000, likes and maybe 2 conversions. 2 conversions is great, especially if you only need 4 butts and seats. But really, that viral content might be hard to create. All of the other work is going to be difficult. Humanity for clicks. No, those are saved for certain pages, blogs, and, truth whisperers. But to build an audience that wants to hear from you, not one that stumbled in from Rage Scroll on TikTok, you're going to want to be consistent. Tell stories that are aligned, not performative. If you wouldn't say it to your client at your client's birthday party, don't post it on your feed. That's a very interesting way to remember it, but your clients are professional, and sometimes they turn into friends, and you go to their friend, stuff, or if you go on their wall and say happy birthday, if you wouldn't say these things at your friend's birthday party, your client's birthday party, then don't use it in your content, because those types of situations are going to go viral for the negative purpose. And negative purpose, like I've said, is going to skew your cost for client acquisition numbers. So you want to be stable, trustworthy, and human when you remain in your lane of content that is consistent and maybe humorous or whatever that is, but it's not overreaching in terms of trending. And you know the influencers I'm talking about. So going viral might get you seen, but if it drains your energy, skews your message, or invites the wrong crowd, you have to ask yourself, was it really worth it? And for 1% of the people I've engaged with over the 10 years of speaking publicly about marketing, especially in the aesthetic realm, I've seen 2 people raise their hands and say yes. The goal is not to be loud, it's to be magnetic and to showcase that you can provide an experience that that person wants, okay? And that starts with marketing rooted in clarity, creativity, and actual connection. Not manipulation, not trends, not fancy ass video edits that get 1 million views but 0 conversions. You want to tell your audience who you are, what you do, and why they should come see you. It's that simple. If you can utilize trends in naturally, that's your lane. Viral might help your numbers, but again, is it going to put butts in seats? I don't know. Test it. But when you test the data of viral posts versus conversions, come back to me and tell me how wrong I was. Number 1, that'll help my conversions of you engaging. But then also, number 2, I'll learn something. Okay, but I've been in marketing for at least 20 years in this realm. Since 2015, I've been in the skincare realm professionally marketing, especially for large trade shows that many of you might know. And I've seen a whole lot of mind control techniques to get people to do things that did go viral, and people did things and they bought into things, and those things are fake and they are draining dollars and resources and stuff. And there is legitimate, consistent resources available to you that have been consistent and are relevant and are fun and exciting, but they don't put their energy into virality, which, we all know how much we love viruses, so I still don't understand why we all want to go viral. But anyway, there are things that are available to you that are popular, that are not viral, that are being shunned or pushed over or overshadowed because of viral content filled with filth and fake and promises that can't happen. You want to make 100K and they tell you it's going to happen in this 6 days or this 6 weeks or this 6 methods or whatever it is, and they've got the source and they know the blueprint. You have to ask yourself, if they can make 100K a month, how long do they want to actually work telling other people to make 100 a month? Because I don't know about you, but if you are anything like me and you personally make 100,000 a month and you're able to get your expenses paid off and stuff and you save up some dollars, it's not going to be a very long time that I want to hustle like that in the same way. I want to go enjoy that. Okay. So people who are out there promising you they can get you to make this level are probably banking on virality to showcase that you did it. And then when you don't make the money from that, it's going to be, well, maybe your offer is bad or maybe you're not as good as you think. And that's not true. The truth is that you went viral in the wrong countries. You don't have an offer that all of those places can buy from. You're not set up consistently locally to get found when you do go viral. And the 6 methods to get everybody, going 100 a month or 10K a month or whatever the goal and the scheme and the scam or whatever they are, those have to be implemented via a strategy that works for a certain type of business, and you might not be that business. So if you don't know how to convert those methods into what works for you, it might set you back. So that's just my understanding. Who am I? Take my 2 cents, toss it in your fuck it bucket. I don't really care. I just want to help people grow and let them not be strapped to chains of marketing myths that the world has decided are truths and need to be focused on, because it's just not true. You can turn on your camera, tell people about your business, and post it and get some success. And it doesn't have to be super edited, and it doesn't have to be you in Venice on a boat, and it doesn't have to be luxury focused of the yachts that you're buying because you're so amazingly successful. It can be real, and it can be legit, and it can be consistent, and it can be successful. But if you're into that Jumbotron chaos drama, have at it. It worked for Coldplay, and it probably, let's check back on this, but it's probably going to work for Astronomer too. So this has been The Nerd, and if you like this breakdown, I've got more on Substack, also in the marketingismindcontrol.com. You'll find it there. Links in the description. You could just type that into your search bar there, marketingismindcontrol.com. You'll find this podcast and also the book that I wrote about mind control and marketing and why it is connected and what you need. If you're ready to make better content without selling your soul to the algorithm gods, check out my CapCut affiliate link. I'll post that Substack. It actually helps you get into the creative process again. And if you get that app and it's still overwhelming for you, our team does edit, and we might use other tools, but we edit in the style of we can be creative and trendy for you. And our marketing team doesn't try to be copycat. We like to jump into your voice and do it as you would do, but better, so that it actually does sound like you, because that's the whole point. So if you get stuck and you can't use my CapCut link, affiliate link, because that is still stressing you out and you still don't know how to tell your story, reach out to us. Push start on facetsofhospitality.com. That'll get you to our services. You can also book a free consultation on that website. So we'll be able to chat about it and see if we want to work together, because maybe you don't like our team. Maybe you don't like what we do or how we do it or whatever, but I might be able to spark some change in you that gets you to do it yourself, right? Because that would help you save some budget too. Until next time, market like you mean it, not like you're trying to win the internet's attention span contest. Thank you.